I grew up in Germany in the 70s and the 80s, and back then a lot of dishes were meat and potato based with a lot of gravy. And when you look at an old German cookbook, you see a lot of brown pictures. Typically for us, a Sunday feast consisted of some form of pork, potatoes on the side, and a lot of gravy. Don't get me wrong, it was delicious, but pork is so versatile. So today we're making something fruitier, something lighter. It's very easy to make, it doesn't take long. And if you want to learn how to make this dish, just stick around for a couple minutes in Linda's home kitchen. So we're gonna serve our pork chops with mixed wild rice and cranberries. We pour 1 1/3 cup of chicken stock in a saucepan, and then we add 2/3 of a cup of apple cider. Then we add a 3/4 cup of white rice blend to it, 1/2 cup of dried cranberries, and 1 tablespoon of butter. By the way, we're gonna do a little fun food quiz throughout the video. There will be 5 questions. You have about 7 seconds to answer each question or just push pause. And if you like, post your score in the comments. It will be interesting to see how everybody did. So while we prepare the ingredients for the sauce, here is your first question. Anyways, we thinly slice 1/2 a red onion, and next we're gonna peel and core 2 apples, and then thinly slice them also. And while doing so, we have time for our second question, which is apple related. So what do you think? This question was a little tough? Well, the next question is going to be about wild rice, and I think it's a little easier. So now it's time to cook the apples and the onions, and to do so we melt 2 tablespoons of butter in our pan. We add a tablespoon of vegetable oil, and then we add our onions and our sliced apples. We stir everything occasionally and we cook it until the apples are soft. And here's question 4 out of 5. So the apples are soft now. Let's take them off the stove. And we're gonna transfer the apples and onions into a bowl because we're gonna use the same pan for the pork chops. Now look at these beautiful pork chops. They are thick cut pork chops, bone in, and they weigh about 12 to 16 ounces each. We're gonna season them on both sides with salt and pepper. Anyways, pork chops are quite versatile. You can cook them in various ways. You could grill them, you could bake them, you can fry them, you can even slow cook them. And that makes them a versatile option for many different recipes. And here's a little fun fact, even the Romans considered pork a delicacy. So the pork chops are now seasoned on both sides. We're gonna get ready to sear them. And to do so, we're gonna use the same pan we cooked the apples and onions in before. And we add 2 tablespoons of oil. We wanna make sure the oil is hot enough before we add the pork chops. And we wanna sear them for 5 minutes on each side. So first side is done, let's flip them over. That looks great, we got a nice brown crust. The sear helps lock in all the flavors in the pork chop, and it created a nice little fond on the bottom of the pan. So now it's time to make the sauce. We pour 1 cup of chicken stock in the pan, and then we use a wooden spoon or wooden spatula to scrape off all the brown bits and pieces from the bottom of the pan. Next we add 1 cup of apple cider for a little extra tart flavor. We also add 1 tablespoon of whole grain mustard. We whisk in the mustard to combine, and then we add 2 sprigs of fresh rosemary and 1 sprig of fresh thyme. Bring it to a low simmer and let it cook for about 5 minutes. Next we add 1/3 of a cup of heavy cream. And now we return our pork chops back to the sauce. We do the same with our apple and onion mix. And Try to distribute them evenly in the pan. Now we cook everything on a low simmer for 10 minutes until the pork chops are thoroughly cooked and the sauce has thickened slightly. So now we are ready to plate it, and at the same time let's look at the final question. So the pork chops turned out nicely. They have a nice crust, and I also like how the cranberries, the apples, and the onions give the dish a little sprinkle of color. It's a lovely recipe, only took about 30 minutes to make it. We hope you enjoyed this video about making apple cider glazed pork chops. If you did and would like to support a small mom and pop channel, give us a like or subscribe. We would really appreciate that. Till next time, yours truly, Linda and Stefan.